Carla Pappalardo, Wyckoff. It's been a few years since my children have been here. I'm listening to statements from folks, and I'm baffled by the level of acrimony and the level of discord. And quite honestly, lame duck refers to the period after you lose an election until the new people are sworn in. So we're not in a lame duck period right now. That won't happen until after the election is certified and when the people are sworn in. So just so that we're all clear, because that's what lame duck means. I paid attention in history class, and I'm an attorney, so when I read those cases, I understand some of the distinctions. I am troubled mostly by the fact that on numerous occasions I have tuned in to listen to educators like Mr. Sutherland appear before the board and other residents and unequivocally state that critical race theory, which everyone seems to agree is something taught in law school, is not a part of the curriculum, is not being taught, is not being pushed, is not an agenda. And yet we keep coming back to the same issue, meeting after meeting. It seems to me that there are more pressing items for this board and boards across the country to be concerned about for our children. What we should be focusing on are some of the test scores that Mr. Sutherland talked about, and improving STEM, and worrying about the education of our children. Not some nonsense and some big brother idea that we're gonna put body cams on teachers so we can hear what they're saying to our children. If you wanna know what teachers are talking to your kids about, here's my idea. Sit down over dinner and say to your kid, what happened in school today?
Thank you. Anyone else? What time are we on? 1:26. Okay.
Good evening, Amy Eilert from Oakland. Today's agenda posted on RIH website states in part, E2, quote, to approve as recommended by the interim superintendent of schools, the dual enrollment articulation agreement between Ramapo College with the Ramapo Indian Hills Regional High School District Board of Education to offer college level courses to district students effective for 2021-22 school year. Ms. Sullivan, you have posted on your BOE Facebook page more detailed information than the posted agenda offers the public. Nowhere on the district post revised agenda does it state specifically what the new class offerings you will be voting for in conjunction with the new dual enrollment opportunity with Ramapo College. Why is that? In my opinion, you give the appearance that you are weaponizing your BOE FB page to incite reckless speculation and misinformed conjecture, which is both harmful to the board and radically irresponsible. In my opinion, you are purposely misrepresenting and politicizing tonight's agenda. It appears your BOE page has become a platform for dumpster fires and dog whistles. Encouraging people to attend tonight's meeting, eluding that something wrong is occurring, appears to make people feel that something deceitful is being done by the superintendent and the Board of Education. You posted, quote, there is a proposed agreement to approve courses for credit at Ramapo College in sociology. Sociology seems to be the area where we have significant issues with presentations parents have had concerns about. To wit, the presentation on policing, in which Bernie Carrick, a former police commissioner of New York City, felt compelled to discuss on his social media page. Perhaps I worry too much about our students, but do you know what that I, as a board member, was denied a copy of the presentation, end quote? Let's break this down. Ms. Sullivan, you have published on your BOE page more detailed information than tonight's agenda was posted for the public. You mentioned Bernie Carrick, who's a convicted felon who pleaded guilty to 8 charges, specifically 2 counts of tax fraud, 1 count of making a false statement on a loan app, and 5 counts of making false statements. He was sentenced to 48 months in federal prison and 3 years supervised release. So tell me, Ms. Sullivan, What makes a convicted felon have more credibility about our curriculum than our own administrators and teachers? It's my understanding that you as an individual are not allowed to ask any documents. You are one of 9 who vote together as a board to request documents. And it is my understanding that a request of documents must be voted on by consensus from the board first. In addition, board members cannot make requests for documents. Please correct me if I am wrong. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, Audrey Souders from Oakland. I had a couple questions. First, Mr. Sutherland, do you have the breakdown between the 2 schools for the AP results? And I was curious if you just don't release them to the public, but you know them internally. The second question I had was regarding OP2. When we are using our ESSER funds to provide rapid antigen testing for the faculty and staff per the Executive Order 253 in the amount of $60 per individual test. I'm just curious, insurance does not cover this testing anymore? Or, why are we using our ESSER funds? Because I believe that after seeing a lot of the test results, we could put that money to much better use. And I'm wondering if you have an estimate as to how much this is going to cost us on a weekly basis. The other thing I wanted to take note of is that the policy up for first read, 241505, is that replacing 9560, which has to do with the Protection of Pupil Rights Amendment, and which requires written consent from parents regarding surveys. The following areas referred to as protected information: mental or psychological problems of the student or student's family, sex behaviors or attitudes, illegal and antisocial self-incriminating or demeaning behavior. I know everyone's tired of hearing this, but we have a survey that was illegal and inappropriately given to students in one of the classes, and some of the things it asked were who you're being raised by, a single parent, a blended family, LGBT. It asks which of the following is true for you? I'm straight, I'm a member of the LGBTQIA, I haven't figured it out yet. Which is true of you? I am cis, I am trans, I am not quite cis. Which of the following is true for you? I have a disability, I have a visible disability, I do not have a disability. Which is true for you? I have been to a mental health care professional 1 or more times. Now that seems like an appropriate question in English class. I have been to a mental health care professional 1 or more times. I used to attend sessions with a mental health care professional regularly. I have not been to a mental health care professional. I am medicated for a mental or chemical issue. Now this does not, it seems like we really need to focus on English, math, and we would like our students to be taught such in school, because we clearly are lacking. And we want to know why we're shooting for college
Thank you, Ms. Souders. Your time
grade
is up.
C and not A's. I'd like to know the percentage of students who are getting A's.
Thank you, Mrs. All right. Do we have time for, what time is that? Yeah.
Yeah, we
Okay.
have time for
I can be quick.
1 or 2 more.
Thank you.
I have a question, just a couple of questions. I think it's great that we are looking at dual enrollment courses for our students.
Excuse me, could you just give us your name, please?
Okay, you can't hear me? Okay, I think it's great that we are looking at dual enrollment courses for our students.
Your name and town.
I'm sorry, Carol from Wyckoff, Carol Eng from Wyckoff. I have a question about the dual enrollment articulation agreement with Ramapo College. Is this one class or is it a series of programs that we are going to be collaborating with Ramapo College? And how do we go about deciding who we partner with? What's the process? That's my question.
Thank you.
We do have time for one more.
Okay. Is that rain?
Yes.
Oh, my gosh.
Cynthia Phillips, Wyckoff. I want to also echo the concern about, not concern, but Mr. Kinney's appointment. I'd like to ask the board president if each member of the board can explain why they would choose a board member who's running in an election right now instead of other qualified board members that are not. I think by appointing him as vice president, you are elevating his profile, you are elevating his candidacy, and it's putting the thumb on the scale of a local election, and I think that's highly inappropriate. And as far as CRT, everybody says there's no CRT, there's no CRT. There is CRT in our school, and parents keep bringing up examples of things that their children have read, resources they're using that talk about systemic racism, things that are really your ideology and your personal beliefs, but not really facts. And those things are very concerning. There is an article in Oxford that talks about how CRT has evolved from the original legal class to something that is now adopted through all aspects of education. I'm happy to share this with anybody who would like to read about it, but basically the closing article says an academic, Nola Cabrera, in an article in the American Educational Research Journal, made the case for using CRT methodology to not only make sharp criticism as to how racism is operationalized in schools, but also how the theory can be used methodically to change racist practices in primary, secondary, and higher education. This point is further evidenced by the evolving nature of CRT and using qualitative methods in education to adopt these concepts across all different aspects of school. It's a heck of a long article. It's very detailed. It's from Oxford. I'm happy to share it. CRT is here. Parents are not liars, and students are not liars. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. Anyone else? All right. Thank you. May I get a motion to close public discussion?
Turn on the mics.
May I have a motion?
Motion to close the public session.
So moved.
Thank you.
Can you hear that?
Mr. Carolyn.
Yes.
Mr. Fortunato.
Yes.
Mr. Kinney.
Yes.
Ms. King.
Yes.
Ms. Koulikortis.
Yes.
Ms. Sullivan.
Yes.
Ms. LaForgia.
Yes. Okay, let's see if we could go through some of these questions. It's sounding like it's getting ugly outside, so